Hi, my name is Andrew. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to review the key funding databases for startups and firms raising investment capital. If you watch my previous videos, you know that you can click my Fiverr link below to get information on investor databases for venture capital, private equity, angel groups, and more. I also help clients with pitch deck reviews if you're getting ready to send your pitch deck out to investors. I have a service on Fiverr where I can review it for you. Approximately 80% of the pitch decks that I receive are not suitable to be sent out to investors. Are you looking for updated investor databases? My database has over 250,000 verified global contacts, and that includes venture capital, private equity, family offices, angel investors, angel groups, and high net worth investors. So this video highlights the key sources of startup funding and investor capital. So what does the video include? It includes the top funding and investor sources. That includes venture capitalists, angel investors, angel groups, private equity firms, family investment offices, accelerators and incubators, corporate venture capital, fund of funds, venture debt, investment banks, and hedge funds. So let's get started. So venture capital, the focus is on startups and young companies with high growth potential. The stage, they invest in all stages from seed, early stage to late stage. Control, they often take equity in exchange for their investment and might seek a board seat. And as far as returns go, they expect high returns due to the high risk, often through an exit event like an IPO or acquisition. And most of the startups that I deal with on my Fiverr profile are looking for targets in the venture capital side. Angel investors. Angel investors focus on early stage startups. The seed stage is generally the pre-seed and sometimes Series A. Control, they may or may not seek board representation, and they're often investing their own money, and these type of investors usually come to the table with between $50,000 and a couple $100,000, maybe $250,000. Returns, they expect high returns given the risk, typically via an event exit. Private equity firms, so they focus more on mature companies than typical startups, but some PE firms have shown interest in growth stage startups. The stage, they typically get involved late stage, mature startups or companies that have been operating for several years. Control, they often take equity in exchange for their investment and might seek a board seat. And as far as returns go, they aim for returns through increased profitability, often by restructuring or possibly selling the company or taking it private. So accelerators and incubators, they focus on early stage startups, get involved in the seed stage and pre-seed. Control, they offer mentorship, office space, and resources in exchange for equity. And their returns, they aim for startups to grow quickly and achieve a subsequent funding round or exit. So incubators and accelerators basically help startups with a lot of their internal systems and processes. They also are great because they tend to have groups of other startups that are involved that can help with not only mentorship but collaborations on other parts of their business to sort of help them sort of grow, and they also have access to investors as well. Corporate venture capital, so it's a little bit different than just straight venture capital. They focus on startups that align with a corporation's strategic goals. So that's the main difference between them and a plain venture capital. A corporate venture capital could very much be a large corporation that has a venture capital arm, and part of that is to support their core businesses. So the stage, it varies, but often Series A and beyond. Control, they might seek a board seat. but are more interested in a strategic alignment with the startup, and as far as returns go, financial returns and strategic benefits of the parent company. Now you look at corporate venture capital as the type of venture capital likes to get involved with companies that are small, that are in their same industry, and part of the strategy is, okay, well, let's buy into these companies so they do not become competition for us later on. So in a way, it's almost like that they're trying to acquire market share by eliminating the competition. And family offices. So their focus is diverse, but it's based on the interests of the family. Stage, they can range from early to late stage. Control varies, but they use private wealth for investments, leading to varied decision-making processes. And the returns, diverse expectations, sometimes more patient capital than VC. So just a quick review, I have one of the largest databases of family investment offices, and we're going to see some of these databases a little bit later on in the video. And family offices, of course, are the ultra high net worth contacts that set up their own investment firms, in-house firms, to manage their money. Typically, these type of firms have anywhere from $50 million, $100 million and up, and they are great resources for investment opportunities and luxury real estate, those sort of assets. And we'll touch on that list a little bit later. Fund of funds. So a fund of funds is basically, they invest in portfolio or of other funds such as venture capital, private equity, or hedge funds. Stage, not directly relevant since they invest in funds, not startups. However, underlying funds could range from early to late stage. So basically, they're investing in other forms of groups like venture capital or private equity. So as far as control, they do not exert direct control in portfolio companies of the underlying funds. Their main relationship is with fund managers, and the returns based on the performance of the underlying funds, which aims for diversification, risk mitigation, and specific market access. So a fund of funds is almost like what a hedge fund is, but in only relation to venture capital and private equity. So other funding sources for investment capital, so these are more of the minor ones that are part of the group, are venture debt, investment banks, and hedge funds. So let's look at the database. Test. So now we're over on the database portion, and this is the series of databases that I have as part of my master database library of over 250,000 contacts. So we're going to go through this. I offer some of these databases on my Fiverr profile on an individual basis, but for corporate and institutional grade clients, I do offer the entire package, and you can contact me for more information on that. So starting off with, for venture capital, that's the largest of the lists. You can see here we have 30,000 contacts in this database, and that includes their names, their email IDs, firm names, and it's a global list, LinkedIn website, and information on the sector, so you can do more research in regard to that. The second list is the angel groups. Now, of course, angel groups are just firms that are formal firms that are groups of angel investors. So if you're looking to raise $100,000 to $500,000, this is a great list for you because it includes angel investors, but they are tied up in formal organizations. So although there's only 2,000 angel groups, there's probably 300,000-400,000 involved in that, because an angel group could have anywhere from 50 to 10,000 angels depending on the size, and again, it's a global list. Then you have the individual angel investors. So this is a database of 29,000. that I have collected, and these are individuals that have identified themselves as being angel investors, and many of them can be contacted via their LinkedIn addresses. So unlike the other addresses that are mainly email, or the other contacts that we went through that are email based, these are mainly LinkedIn based. Then we move on to private equity. So private equity groups, this is one of the largest databases of private equity firms in the world. It has 16,500 contacts, and again, it's a very comprehensive database, and it includes some of the sectors that they're involved in, so that will help as well. And all these databases have been updated as of 2023. Then we move on to family investment offices. Now this is a database that I've highlighted before on previous videos. If you've watched any of my other videos, I have some comprehensive videos that go through this. Now this is one of the largest databases of family investment offices, and that's both single family office and multi-family office. And of course, family offices are the individual investment firms of the ultra wealthy, and that makes them really good targets for investment opportunities, luxury real estate, commercial properties, hotels, that sort of thing. And again, there's 10,000 of these, and they're very hard contacts to get a hold of, and that's why this is a very valuable list for people mainly in the corporate finance business, or if you're looking to market projects. Probably is not a great list if you're a startup, but if you're anyone else that's marketing anything in a high-end luxury, anything from maybe $500,000 to $100 million, this is a great list for you. Accelerators and incubators, again, there's 7,500 of them, and we touched on that in the earlier part of the video. These are the type of firms that help startups grow their business, reach out to other startups, and also have connections with a lot of investors. So sometimes those are great groups for startups to approach in the very beginning if you're just getting ready to launch your first funding program. Then the corporate VCs, again, 1,200 of them. Those tend to be larger companies, investment arms on the venture capital side that are usually tied to their parent company. Then fund of funds, smaller list, 350 of these, but they're great for corporate finance groups who are looking to raise funds from venture capital on the private equity side. Then the minor ones here, again, the venture debt, there's 180 of those. Investment banks, there's 1,800. This is, I believe, the largest database of investment banks in the world. So this is another great resource for people that are looking to promote their opportunities. And of course, hedge funds, there's 825 of them here, global database. A lot of these are going to be in the USA and the UK, but there's a fair bit of representation in Asia as well. So if we take a look at the database review, so the databases that we have just covered include venture capital 30,000, angel groups 2,000, angel investors 29,000, 16,500 private equity firms, family investment offices, and again that's 10,000, accelerators and incubators 7,500, corporate VCs 1,200, fund of funds 350, venture debt 180, investment banks 1,800, and hedge funds of 825. So in total, there's 99,355 contacts. Now, my major database has 250,000 contacts, and that also includes other contacts that are within these fields or sit on the periphery of them. So that's an important thing to realize. In addition, and this is not a database that I share with people, it is a high net worth and ultra high net worth database. It's a private database I have of the highest net worth investors, and this is mainly a very specialized database that I offer only for corporate and institutional grade clients. It's not something that I help people with on Fiverr. But that's a good review of the databases that I have and the different sectors within the fundraising category. Click my Fiverr link below for more information on my investor databases. Thank you for watching this video.